comes up on the next squat sync up, you'll be able to rock and roll. All right, so bring me through, Mrs. Chair. Good morning. Okay. I'm here. It's we did. Yeah, I think what we need to do is we need to find where to archive this. So we have discussed it. We did agree on it. So maybe we need to put this in the SLAs or the hiring. Oh, there's another person joining us. Maybe it's Gabby. Hi, Dominic. Welcome in. Dub, would you like to be part of the HR discussion? Yes, come on in. Come on in. Welcome. Okay, fantastic. So, all right, this party has gotten bigger. What about Kanu over there? Is he busy? Does he want to? Hey, Kanu, how's it going, sir? Good to see you. Nice shirt. All right, let's talk about this. So we have that policy now. So Dominic, just to bring you up to speed, we decided to eliminate housing allowance and just add $850 to future new hire contract. So instead of putting a housing allowance and dealing with a frat house. Yes. Okay. All right. Back to you. Uh huh. This is all for new hires. Whatever existing agreements we have in the past, those will continue running, and this is just for new people coming on board. The evolution of contracts is to actually create some sort of, better balance, because the needs of the company change over time. So we need to come up with stuff that actually works. But whatever we agreed to before, let's just keep that the way it is. All right, I'm trying to look for a section where I can put this in so that we remember. I think I should go into SLAs, right? But I'm looking for a place to put it in the SLAs. External SLAs, workflows, evaluators, recruiters, on-the-job training. Okay, how about this? We just put it in. This is kind of like employee. Oh, okay, here we go. Right. This is the best place to put it. So I motion that we move this into the SLAs. So now instead of having housing allowance, we will just put it into the employee to company SLA. We will add $850 to base pay for new hires. Yeah? Okay, is there a second for that? Okay. For new hires, that's why I say it's for new hires. Okay, great. Policy for all existing employees will just continue the way that it was on the contract, so we don't change the plan. Right? It just continues the way that it's always been. All right. Okay, back to you, Chair. That part has been eliminated and moved to the correct place. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Lunch. Fantastic. Okay, very good. Thank you very much for that. Maybe, Mrs. Chair, maybe we could ask Dominic's feedback for this particular training program. Okay. Okay. We need more questions. So this is Kano's on-site evaluations. So on it, the structure of this is to have a test to actually make sure that the person. So this is essentially the ability we're trying to train. This is the resource that we're giving, and then we need to actually make sure that the person knows what it is afterwards. So currently, okay, got it. Okay, great stuff. Sounds good. Dominic, is this a different sort of thing than what you went through? I can't even remember what we did during your trials. Was it structured or was it pretty loose? Okay. Okay, got it. What sort of changes, what sort of differences have you noticed, Dominic, on the structure of these trial documents? I see. Okay. Okay, great. Okay. And it covers more topics, right? Like, for example, did we do ergonomics training for you? Like the monitors, the stands. Okay. Yeah, I did. That's why you guys do it so well. Yeah, you brought that culture back to Bali. Okay, good. All right, and morning routines, WhatsApp groups. Okay, cool. Good stuff. Back to you, Chair. The chair is muted. Mrs. Chair, I don't think we should delete it from old business. I think we should put it somewhere where we can access it later. I think it goes into the hiring SLAs. Yeah, I think it's a workflow for hiring, actually. So let me... Yes, I will. Okay, fantastic. I'm stuck. Okay, wait, give me a second. Okay, I'll put a note to do that, and then I'll let you continue the rest of the meeting then. Okay, sorry, this is hopping all over the place. Okay, this has already been completed. Oh, and this article, if I may, I put up this article. I want to share this article as a moment of collective involvement, of collective learning here. So I thought this is actually pretty impactful in terms of what we're experiencing this month, right? So there was a lot of debate. Oh, Chair, may I have the floor? Okay, so this is an idea, and this idea comes from what we did in July. Oh wait, by the way, Dominic, all right, did you guys get paid already? Okay, all right. Wyana should have issued out bonus payments for everyone, but let me follow up with her and make sure that she gets it done. But okay, the point of it is this. The point of it is why do we do something like that? Why do we actually remove bonuses from everybody's pay? So the idea is that people need to feel the pressure, right? The teams need to feel some sort of pressure. Otherwise, essentially, there's no wake-up call. Part of it comes from, do you guys know what burning the boat means? No. Okay, burning the boats means this. Let's say, for example, you bring an army over to invade a place, right? So you come across some boats, and then you arrive on a new land. Now, if you're really serious about this invasion working, you need to burn your boats. You need to essentially cut off and say, we're not going back. The only way that we're going to go is to move forward. So that's the idea of burning the boats, that you're essentially not compromising and leaving any exit points, and the only exit point is the forward point. So this is what this article talks about, and I think it's actually kind of controversial, but I think it works. During this particular month, we saw a lot of thought process put into how to fix the reservations, how to deliver revenue, how to improve the hospitality, how to fix things that weren't working. And I don't know if that would have happened if we didn't create a pressure across the entire company. So this article is just there. It sort of explains it, the importance of oh shit moments, a fight or flight response. So it kind of says you need to give the oh shit moment to the entire team so they feel that way. Why are we discussing it in HR? Because I think HR is that universe where we're talking about employee experience. Sometimes we want to say, okay, let's treat everybody really well and make sure that they're happy and comfortable. But what can happen over time is that everybody just kind of settles into a comfort zone, and they don't necessarily even want to turn anymore. They're just like kind of happy in these routines. Now, from time to time, we discover that these routines are actually not the way that we think they should be. Like now in JoJo, for example, we can see the inquiry and the traffic and that stuff, and we need to have an oh shit moment to go, hey, something's not really right, and this can't keep going on. So that's the theme of this article. I just like to kind of maybe suggest to put this in the library, and we can use it as a reference point for how to structure training programs and how to lead our teams. The training programs I don't think should be simple. I think they should be oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, emergency, 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 emergency. Good. Okay. Yeah. And then that creates the right kind of teammates and the right kind of culture that we want to see. Okay, great. So motion to move this to the library then. Okay, fantastic. All right. So that is medium. Okay. I think I got control of my board again. So we'll move that over to the HR library under this section. So this, I guess, will go into training then. Yeah. Okay. Or building teams. Okay. Yes. Okay. Right. Okay. Let me share this with you. I think this is just outreach. Now, currently, I'm spending a lot of time on LinkedIn, and I encourage everybody who wants to help in HR, participate in HR, to really leverage the LinkedIn network. What does that mean? I always think if you want to get good at something, then look to find a mentor who's 10 times better than you at doing this. So the way I saw it is, I'm struggling with HR right now. I think we're all struggling with HR right now. So I went on my network and I found Mark Levy. So this is Mark Levy. Mark and I used to work at Airbnb together, and we shared a lot of moments in the company. So this is his history. He's a TED speaker, so he's been to TED before to speak. He works at this company called Allbirds right now. Do you guys know Allbirds? It's like the new Nike. It's a $1 billion shoe company. It came up from New Zealand, and they took this concept of using merino wool from New Zealand to make super comfortable sports shoes. So he's the head of employee experience at Allbirds. Oh wait, he just moved on again. Actually, he got a new job, and he used to be the global head of employee experience at Airbnb. And before that, he worked, I think, at Levi's or Gap. At Levi's for brand and Technicolor, and then Gap for 3 years. So Mark really knows what he's talking about, and he really knows how to design employee experience programs and HR programs. So instead of trying to stumble through all the mistakes of developing an HR program from scratch, I went and I reached out to Mark, and surprisingly, he reached back out to me. So it's actually kind of funny. If you just ask, they will respond. So Mark reached out to me years ago when he asked about he was coming to Bali, right? Down here in this conversation. So this was back in 2017. And then I thought, at that time I gave him some recommendations about Bali, but now most recently, I thought I'm having all these challenges with hiring, and I don't know how to hire, and what should I do? And so anyway, I wrote to him this message. So I just said, hey Mark, what's up? How are you? I saw that you're at Allbirds now. Congratulations. I heard about Allbirds of NPR on a podcast. So anyways, I told him what I'm doing now, and then I have some specific questions about hiring interviews and also designing a great employee experience program. And if you have a moment, I'd have love to engage in a video call, right? He said yes. He said yes. He's currently traveling in Europe. When he gets back in August to San Francisco, he'd be happy to jump on and have a discussion with us. And I think that's actually a pretty cool thing. Just reach out, ask somebody in your network who really knows, and you never know who you might be able to find. And they generally say yes. Good people, they're always looking for mentees too, so they'll say yes if you ask. So that's what's up. I think we can include all of us. I think we can just ask and just share his time. Pretend we're having like I don't know, like an online lunch talk with him, and just get to see his point of view. Most often, what you're really trying to learn from people who have a lot of experience is how do you see the world, right? The way they see hiring, the way they see employee experience is generally almost the opposite of people who have no experience, right? So a few things I learned, for example, if you want to hire people, you really need to think about what their next job is going to be. You need to have cases where this person gets a job at Bukit Vista, and the next job they get is at Gojek as, let's say, senior HR, right? Or the next job they get is at Ilila for a senior HR position. Or the next job they get is the head of hospitality at Raffles, right? So if you plan like that, then you actually have developed a very effective positioning in your company. More traditional people would say, no, I just want to keep the person here, stay forever. But, that's not really practical either, right? That's not very realistic if you look at the data, if you look at all these things. But more than that, we're trying to actually share intuition and perspective. So that's the idea of the reach out. So yeah, that's my update on that show. And just as a question to you, I believe Bayou reached out to your father, right, for guidance. Okay. Yeah. So that's just, no, but that's just an example of what I mean, right? Always look for people who have, let's say, more experience in leadership roles or in whatever it is, and that will save years. That will allow you to jump way higher in your career path than just figuring out things from scratch. So anyways, yeah, that's where we're at there. Yeah. That's already started. This is true, yeah. Okay, to maybe Dominic first. What do you think about that? Yeah. Yes. And, okay, back to Ara. What do you think about that? Well, and what could those considerations be? Okay, then that's great. That's a great discussion topic. Once again, that should be a question we ask Mark Levy too as well, right? What should we consider about people who are benefit driven? I think it's a bias, though. It's not all overqualified people are looking for benefits. I mean, I think it's about value. The way I see it is we want to be the world's most innovative company. We want to be a world-class company. We want to be a company that can exist in an equal footing in Europe, Japan, America, Latin America, Indonesia, everywhere, right? So if we're really serious about that, then we need world-class talent. We need people who can actually bring that level of expertise there. What I've found is that it's much better to hire the most overqualified and the smartest person you can, and then match the benefits to what they can bring in. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, everybody here who gets paid is ultimately delivering more value than their salary, right? If you're not delivering as much value as your salary, you're probably you're not worth it. You're just like a leech. So I think all overqualified people, I can maybe even guess, like, let's say, for example, Nunli, right? Nunli came in with extremely well qualified. Like, she's been headhunted her entire life. Nunli never had to look for a job. People would bring jobs to Nunli and say, hey, look, I want you to work for me. Here's the offer. And her career pedigree has been flawless, right? Singapore Zoo, Sony, Wilson Towers Watson. So, but why is she here, and what is she contributing? As we can see, there's been a lot of contributions. We're going from grass huts to, like, steel skyscrapers with some of the thought processes we bring in. So yes, we always need to qualify we should always hunt overqualified candidates. We shouldn't settle for people who are, oh yeah. I would always find a position, and I would always be able to match benefits, right, to a person who's overqualified. If they're only in for the benefits, then that means they're not qualified at all, actually. If they're only here and they're entitled and they have, like, I need to get this, otherwise I don't, then yeah, I don't think that's what it's about. That's not the qualification we're looking for. But if it's like, yeah, I could work at, like, Apple, but I choose to work at Bukit Vista, and we got to do our best to be able to bring them in, right? We got to do our best to be able to afford that kind of talent, and I think that kind of person will always add more value than what they take out. So yeah, that's where we're at. We do, right? Okay. To Dominic? No? Okay. I agree. But I do think that this scope of work is a little bit bigger than what we might immediately believe. Okay, this is related to a new direction the company is going in. So the direction is road mapping and experimental templates. So I think we need to have essentially a belief that all these trials, we're going to need to evolve them until they are a perfect fit, right? So what does that mean? That means in the trials, are we actually able to train the candidate to be market builder ready at the end? And are we discovering weaknesses quickly and all these things so that we don't waste so much time, like, doing all this stuff? So I think we're going to have to go through some version control to see, like, okay, this is our first version, and we're going to run it against the new market builder, see how it goes, and such. I think the first step is to create a template for that, and then to issue each one, and then we look at the results, right? Was the candidate a fail or was it a pass? Did the program work correctly, or were there things that the program could have done better? I've been collecting feedback from a lot of the trial candidates, and there are things that are confusing. There are things that could be delivered better. And so I propose that we actually just go through an MVP process for, let's say, Kano right now, right? Because he's already there undergoing the trial. But my suggestion is create a framework. Here it is, like a roadmap and version control. Okay, control. Okay, sorry, that's pretty well. Okay, so roadmap and version control. What that means is we create a. You guys know the way that I do the sales projections, right? Yeah! I talk about it during all hands. Ow! Okay. And there was no video. Yeah, sorry, there was no video because the video cut out. Yeah, we're having headaches with getting the... Okay, let me show you what version control looks like. Dominic, you know what version control looks like? Okay, Dominic, tell Ara. Please say again. I think the audio cut out a little bit. Yes. A sales projection is just one way of doing version control. There's a lot of other ways you can do version control. You can have version control on SLAs, for example. You can have version control on market building programs, right? We have version control on that too. So each version, we say that we're going to try doing these things. We then look at the real world results, and then we think about, all right, what do we do right this time? What should be fixed next time? And then we come up with the next version that addresses the problems and keeps the good qualities. So, okay, to bring everybody up to speed, on sales projections, this is pretty important for our company because everyone's pay is tied to it, right? So we better get it right. We better get either the projection right or the reality right? So that we're having these two sides. So in effect, we have a May version, June version, a July version, and now an August version. So we have 4 versions of how we do this sales projection. And you can see in the first projection, we had essentially a certain model, which is how we're going to attempt to create the projection. And we didn't even have a operation side there yet. We just used our regular operation. In the June version, we had a new model, and then we had some new ideas of how to get that projection done. And then in the July version, we had a new model again, and we added some more things on what we can do. And in the August model, we have a new model again, and we have some new things that we can do. Each version is essentially evolving and getting a little bit better. And the idea is that we should always be able to hit our revenue targets if we have a really good model and we have a really good operational execution, right? The concept is the same for on-site trial programs. So this is, let's say, your first version. This is your June version of the on-site trial program. And you see how it runs. Did you get a candidate that was good? Are they effectively working in their team? Is the team happy with them? Do they deliver performance? Are they in risk of not passing probation? Do they pass their 3-month probation? Do they pass their 6? It's a little bit slower for this, but I think each version we need to look at it and ask ourselves, did that training program produce the right candidate, and did it select the right candidate? If it doesn't, then we need to pivot. We need to go back to the training program, look at what's not working, and then fix it and get it right. But then each way we evolve it, everybody can see, like as a team, what version are we on? What version are we on? What version are we on? Dominic right now wants to rebuild the Squad 3 market, and Ara's talking about new partnerships. Right now, I bet both of you are a little bit confused. What version of market building are we on? Am I right? Right. So there's a roadmap. So we sat down with Lindley and talked about creating a roadmap, and that's the same idea. It's version control. So once we have a roadmap, you can see more clearly, okay, what are the things we need to, what are the things we promise to the partners, what are our demands, and so on and so forth, so that everyone can see what version are we on, what do we promise, what the SLAs are, and so on and so forth. So this is a market building evolution showing essentially what the difference was between the first iteration, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth, and what essentially we're aiming for in the end, right? So the end is essentially this, where there's an owner dashboard. We don't know what the end MOU will look like. We're not sure what these things are, but it's okay. It's okay to have, it's okay to be certain that you're unclear, right? It's okay to be I know that I don't know. Because over time you can get more close to that. But it's also good to now know that we are on the 6th version of market building, and what does the 6th version entail? It entails these processes. Make sense? Okay, all right. So here's my proposal. My proposal is that we create a framework of just like what we did for sales projection, just like what we did for the market building roadmap, but we do it for on-site trials. So we keep a version control, we run it, and then we see, okay, all right, this person passed, these person didn't pass. Why didn't they pass? What was wrong with the training? And then we keep on refining it and refining it and refining it. Yeah. Okay, back to the chair. The chair is muted. I don't see where inspiration is. Where did you? Yes. Essentially, that's it. Yeah. So I guess we'll just call it a roadmap because it essentially shows where we're going and where we've been. So I'll just call that a roadmap. I'll choose that as a name to describe this process. So we just need a roadmap for online site trials so that we can see where the future is. And if possible, I think we can sit down with Ara and me, and we'll just create this roadmap, and we'll put our first version in for each of the chapters, and then we can see where it goes in the future. Yeah. Okay, great. Yes. Okay, over to you. Yes, so Panuki is actually undergoing a new contract evolution. I need to see his proposal. So Panuki essentially is a consultant at this point, and we are having him come in to essentially set up different programs. I will update everybody on the next HR Guild about what his proposals are. He sent one over to me privately, but let me get this in. What we're looking for is the expansion of the existing pool of candidates at UGM. Essentially, before we were just looking at tourism studies, but now we want to get communication, economics, international relations, mathematics, and computer science. And this is to essentially fill out the company so that we have more software designers, we have more artists and creative people, and all that kind of stuff. So, Panuki's working on that part. I'll leave it in new business for now until I have the update on Panuki. Yeah? Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, to Dominic. I know. Uh-huh. He's not our market builder. No. He's not working on market building anymore. He is, okay, the option I've offered him is that he can come to Bali to get remedial training if he wants to activate in market building again. That's a little bit hard right now for me to offer because actually, no, it could be okay. I think the market building team is cooled down right now, so they can probably bring him back in to retrain him and all that, right? And he can produce quality leads and all that, but he needs to be retrained in order to be qualified for market building in the future, right? So he's not working on any more market building deals. What he is working on is university relation deals. He's working on getting agreements with different departments at UVM to essentially find us more candidates in the future to work at Bukit Vista. Yeah, and I've told him not to really come into the office because when he's there, then everyone thinks he's the boss again, and then that kind of stifles the leadership culture that we have. Mm-hmm. Oh, right. Good question. Okay, Pablo here is not outside the company yet, right? He's not fired. He's not whatever. He's just sort of he's functioning more as a consultant. Yeah, so he's kind of like where Nunli was in the beginning, if that makes any sense, right? So Nunli was consultant in the beginning. Now she's coming on board as a full-time employee. So as a consultant, you still have access to these things, and it's actually not bad unless he uses it in a bad way, and we don't trust him because he still gets a salary. He'll still get paid to essentially maintain our relations and for the work to continue into the future. So he's not out. It's just that essentially his scope of work has been reduced. I think that's okay. I've asked him not to do revenue management, any of this anymore. I just need peace in Jogja. I just need Jogja to sort of, we need to get everything slowed down so that it's not like breaking all the time. And then once everything's slowed down, then we can rebuild and we can talk about how to do the revenue management in Jogja. In order for us to do revenue management in Jogja, we need to have owners to give us agreements on dynamic pricing. And if we don't have dynamic pricing, it is just senseless. It's like we spend hours and 6 trips having coffee with people, and they agree to give a 10% discount for last week, and it's already over. So that's not the way it works. The way it works should be we give, once again, we need to rebuild it. We need to give revenue projections for all the partners we want to work with and say this month we want to hit this much, next month we want to hit this much, so on and so forth to the end of the year. And then we come back and we have a plan. So then we go, all right, this is our plan, and let's work to get to this plan. You will give me control on pricing so that I can move your price to plan. If you don't like it, then fire us, right? And don't work with us anymore. But we are agreeing that the plan should be this. There is a revenue projection. We'll get that in. It is the good thing right now. Like I said, is it is slowing down. So there's not so much like hot shit sort of flying all over the place. It's like cooling down. And so now when it's cooled down, I think we can go out and repair things. It's part of Nunli's plan too as well, because we can't do any repair work if we're bringing in new deals and all this shit is flying too. So it's okay. It's meant to slow down. It's meant to slow down, and then once it's cool, then we can start rebuilding again. Okay, but Panuki's involvement is not in market building anymore. It's not in revenue management anymore. It is just simply in university relations. He can still have access, I think, to the things, because if I turn off his access, then later on, if I need to rebuild him, I've got to go and kind of like get all that up again. But my question is, do you see that being an issue right now? Is he doing things into the system that are not right, or is there any concern on his? Is there any concern about a reason why he should not have access? Oh, he's going to create his own company. Oh. I don't think so, Dominic. And the reason for that is because Patnuki, as you can see, if we could provide him an entire team and he couldn't lead the team, I don't know how he's going to get, the investment together to do it himself. He can get the partnerships, but as you can see, the partnerships don't even cover his own salary. So I mean, it's almost a bit senseless, and he doesn't necessarily even have, I think, the correct intuition to do it. I'm not too concerned about him starting his own company. If he does want to do that, then good luck. You know, I would say it's much more challenging than him and I are both prepared to do. So no, that's it's currently not an issue. I'm going to choose to trust Potnuki for the time being, unless we start seeing that trust is misplaced, and then perhaps well, of course, we'll have to turn off. But for the moment, if you can give me evidence that he is starting his own company that is in direct competition with our company, then yes, of course, we should probably just call it off and say, okay, you go on your own, but we don't have a relationship anymore. But for the moment, he is still an employee, and so we're going to go ahead with that. Yeah? Okay. All right. Great. Back to you, Chad. Yeah. Okay. Geez, is this a roadmap? Oh, okay. All right. Oh, we already have a roadmap. Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. So this is where we put the programs, I guess. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. I'll go ahead and put these in the library. Okay. Sure. Yes, I will. I'll go ahead and accept the nomination. That's great. May I ask also about the university relations updates? When do the interns begin? So coming up, yeah? All right. And who has agreed to actually become an intern? Who are the interns that are going to show up? Okay, so they all accepted, right? Okay, fantastic. Okay, so we get one content person, one air support person, and one human resource person. Okay. No, do we have any finance people? Do you agree with that, Dominic? You're a tourism student too. You do? Do you want to do Gigi's job? Do you want to do Gigi's job and then you can delegate your job to the new guy? Oh, right, that's right.